So let's get started, shall we? I'm WriterMaven. Happy holidays. This is a Monday Night Raw recap, thoughts, whatever, for today. Going into this, it wasn't a bad Raw. It just had bad parts. I think you all know where I'm going to focus my attention on. Namely, we do not only have a Rhea Ripley Vortex of Suck, we now have a Damian Priest Vortex of Suck. And it is annoying and aggravating, especially now that he's linking up with more writers, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But first of all, you can really see that split is Judge May forming now. It may end up now just being La Familia. It may be just La Familia just under the Judgment Day branding, is where I'm thinking. Because we did get the nice sibling bickering between Finn and Liv. And it's funny how Liv was telling Raquel to say to Finn, like to tell Finn what was going to happen, and then Finn was trying to use JD to tell Liv what was going on, and Carlito just looking confused with his apple and his Santa cap. Meanwhile, Dom is rubbing up on Liv, and Liv, and then Dom just finally has enough of it and says, "Hey, I'm gonna try to make things right." And then Finn is like, "Oh, you're gonna think you're better with me?" So Finn is always Finn still has the problem with Dom attempting to take charge or take point. If this was no leaders, no egos, then Finn wouldn't have a problem with Dom stepping up. Now you can see now that Finn is really obvious about having a problem with Dom stepping up, and he was like, "Hey, I have a plan. I'm gonna talk to Adam Pierce." And gives her head. That was really cute. And Finn is all broody demon, demented demon. And then JD has the funny bit of, "Why can't we have no drama for one day?" It's like, I feel you on that, JD. And of course, now all the Finn and Liv shippers want to come out the woodwork. I still did not get this. How come everything now? It always seems like it's a concentrated effort just to force Dom to be babyface when it doesn't make sense for him to be babyface. Just because Dom is going up against another heel, and even later when I talk about him in New Day, it does not mean he's going face. It's just heel. Heels don't get along with each other. Not like face has to get along with anybody. Nobody was saying that Bayley was going to turn heel because Bianca had a problem with her. But now people want to jump into, oh, they're going to, Finn and Liv or Finn are still working together and they're going to turn on Dom. And I'm like, first of all, did y'all not see the TikTok last week of Dom and Liv reacting to the loss? And they still want to bring up that damn key card. This is why I said yesterday on my live that they needed to squash all that and reveal some things from that whole thing, because the key card has been explained. It has. And they keep wanting to bring that up, and then they want to twist the narrative of, well, Finn and Liv were talking, but Dom and Liv were together on TV first. And yeah, Nancy, Finn has been calling her sis, and Finn has been negging Liv. Do you like? I don't see the long game of calling be negging them and calling them sis, and then they're automatically going to join together. That's just a swerve for swerve stake if that happens, because there's no clues. Finn has been negging Liv. Finn has been in Don's face. And it's obvious that Liv does not like it. You can see, like Liv, you can see her reactions when you saw, if you look closely at Liv, when Finn was like, you think you're better than me? Dom, you could see the actual facial expression change on Liv's face. It's people just want their narrative. First, it was like with Rhea and Dom. It's like can't can't be a controller of his own destiny, and everybody's just going to turn on him for their own game. First, it was like with Rhea and Dom, where Rhea's just using him, and they're going to turn on him. And then now with Finn, Liv, and Dom, Finn and Liv are going to Dom, and they're going to be mega heel. Finn is not going to be a mega heel. He is not. If Finn was going to be a heel, he would have had that reaction already. He is not going to be a mega heel. I don't even think Liv would be a mega heel. They're not going to get that reaction. New Day is only getting a reaction heel wise with because of Big E, but if you notice now, it is waning. Dom has sustained his heel heat for almost 2 to 3 years now. New Days is waning. It takes skill to maintain that level of heat. And I don't care if this is just audience participation at this point with Dom. Regarding the heat, he still gets the heat. It's not going away. But I'm really annoyed with this effort of you can't have Dom just exist. There's always a push of, oh, he's gonna go base and he's gonna help Bray out. I say, why would he help Bray? He doesn't agree with what New Day does, but not all heels go agree with each other. And Bray is still his deadbeat dad. He doesn't like his deadbeat dad. Just because New Day is going to go against Bray doesn't mean Dom is going to come out of the woodwork and help Bray. Why would he help Bray? It's not like Bray was trying to make an effort to help Dom when he was going through his situation. That's always that key point with me regarding Ray and Dom. Y'all always want Dom to save Ray, but Ray needs to, if you want to start that process of face turns, Ray has to get off his high horse and help Dom out some kind of way. It can't just be Dom saving Ray. Ray has to do some kind of effort here too. And I never liked this narrative of Dom always having to do something. He always has to put forth the effort in all these scenarios to turn face for Ray. Me personally, I always felt that Dom would turn face after he retired Ray in an oh what have I done type situation, not before. Because after he retires Ray, it's too late and he can't really repair it. And that's where I would go with a face turn because that's not something he could easily rectify if Ray was still active for that angle. But Finn and Liv are sis. Finn keeps calling her sis. And people need to remember what happened last week with that TikTok. It's obvious that it's obvious that Liv and Dom have some sort of plan. And Dom seemed like he did have a plan. It's just that Finn messed up. So I'll segue into New Day and Dom. Dom looked really confident. Did y'all notice, like, when he was meeting up with New Day, how he had swagger? Dom had swagger, he had confidence. That is your leader. That is a leader that stepped up to try and rectify a problem. He did that. Finn was all being his sulky, demented self, but Dom was the one that said, hey, I got a plan, let's do it. And even if it fails, and that's not because of Dom's fault, that's because of Finn, he had a plan. He stepped up. And if Finn was the no egos and no leaders type, he wouldn't have had a problem with Dom stepping up. But that the whole New Day thing just shows that Dom is shifting into that leader position. He's there, but it's being more visible now. Then, of course, when he was meeting with New Day, he's like, even Dom was like, yeah, that's like that. He's like, that's a little bad for me too, but and I get what they're doing because, like I said, not all heels get along, and even heels be like, dude, you just took it way too far. Didn't like Tom still it, but I am liking Dom's swagger and confidence. We need to see more of that. And then we go into Damian, and I am tired of Damian's no selling ass. Since when is he no selling and omnipotent? He knew everything. He knew about JD. How are you going to know about JD in a Santa suit? I know it's kind of obvious with JD standing there, but still, you snuffed out JD. You snuffed out Carlito. Now you're omnipotent as well? Yeah, it's play out of the Judgment Day playbook, but come on, man. You're no selling for Dom. Again, Dom is the one that made Gunther bleed, but here we are again with Damian no selling shit. And then he's omnipotent on top of that as well, where he can just snuff out everything. And then now they're trying to throw him in with War Raiders to get him some kind of pop. So now we don't no longer just have Rhea's Vortex and stuff. We have Damian's Vortex and stuff. And if they're just going to throw in War Raiders with Damian, then the Judgment Day shouldn't have lost the titles in the first place. Because if they need to get involved with Damian just to get some kind of reaction, Judgment Day shouldn't have lost the titles. And I said what I said. War Raiders should be able to stand on their own. If they're not, then something went wrong. And that's why I didn't really want Judgment Day to lose the tag team titles because what are the War Raiders going to do? You see what's going on now? Where are the tag teams? Who was stepping up to challenge them? You could at least have either Alpha Academy try to step up, LWO, American Made, any of these tag teams. They could at least have somebody try to step up to challenge and get that ball rolling. But nah, we got them involved with Damien. And then they're going to have a match um, next week. So it's going to be Damien the War Raiders versus Dom, Finn, and JD. I'm going to come back to that because I have some thoughts on what I think is going to happen next week. But we just now have Damian Priest Vortex sucks. No pop, no aura, no face turn. I am sick of it. Y'all ruined Damian's face run. And now y'all keep trying to latch on to Dom for his heat, trying to get somebody else over. And I'm sick to death of it. Stop using Dom to get other people over. He earned his heat on his own. He knows how to work the crowd. He knows what to do, not to sound like MJF where he has to insult the crowd and keep getting his heat. He earned that. He should be getting rewarded for that. And if he's not getting rewarded by that, at least by, and I guess this is why I say no, I am against saying be patient, but this is just my timeline. I better be seeing Dom as a leader in these next couple of weeks, and I better see Dom by a title by WrestleMania, because I am sick to death of how they're treating him. It's not fair to Dom. Everybody else, you got Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker wasn't even there. So you have your Intercontinental title winner, holder, doing jack shit. He gets the marks, but what is he doing? Nothing. This could have been time just to set up that. If they're not going to put Dom in the World Heavyweight Championship, go and get the ball rolling on the Intercontinental title. I do not need to see Dom and Liv still being always involved with Damian and Rhea's bullshit just because y'all don't know how to book those guys without making them nigh invincible and omnipotent now. It's aggravating and it sucks. They deserve better. The War Raiders had a little bit of a chat with Damon after this, and I really didn't pay attention to it because I was like, I don't really care. Somebody said that they could address Damian's past there, but still, that's a little too late. That should have been addressed with Finn and Dom, and during their match, like that should have been addressed. So it's just Damian and Rhea are just pulling everybody down because Triple H can't book for shit regarding them. They need to split and go on their own. And funny enough, Rhea was nowhere to be found during the show. People didn't even realize it until after the show that Rhea did not show up. And that tells you something. At least on my timeline, I didn't get, oh, where's Rhea? People only just started saying, oh, Rhea wasn't there until maybe 5 minutes until the end of the show. So you see how that went with her. Because I knew this was a tape show, so I was expecting some type of taped promo. But she didn't show up at all. I think they just made mention of the title match for the Netflix. But she wasn't even there. That says something that nobody really noticed until 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the show ended. But anyway, like I'm just kind of tired of certain narratives going on. You got Finn, people wanting to put Finn and Liv as siblings just so they can get Dom. I think it's more like they want Dom to be humiliated for some reason, and it's always been this undercurrent of that with online people, not my group or just people that I associate with in my little circles, but it just always seems like at large within the IWC that people just want Dom to be either humiliated or embarrassed or something for some reason. I guess it's this Nepo baby thing, maybe, but still, you wouldn't do this to some other people. He's proven himself. He doesn't need to be, his character doesn't need to be embarrassed and all that when, I mean, yeah, that's part for the course for being a heel, but it always seems like there's an extra layer of menace behind this. And I've always felt that for the past 2 or 3 years. It's always been like it's a layer of menace and hatred behind it. It's back, even going all the way back to when Dom first joined Judgment Day. People were salivating about, oh, Rhea doesn't love him. She's going to turn on him and use him and kick him out. And then when that didn't happen, it goes over here to Liv. Oh, Liv is just using him, and then she's going to join up with Finn. And that still hasn't happened. It's like they really want this humiliation conga to happen with Dom. Like him getting beat up and looking silly against Damian isn't enough. He needs to have something else he needs to happen with Dom. So for that reason, I am really hoping that things change really soon with Netflix. I know we're in a holding pattern till Netflix, but I'm really hoping that things go better for Dom once they get to Netflix and once 2025 rolls around. 2025 needs to be Dom's year, period. It needs to be his year. He needs to be getting titles. He needs to be getting money in the bank. He needs to be winning more matches. He needs to become a leader. He needs to get all of that. And once he's done all that, maybe we could think about a face turn. But until then, he needs to be healed. He needs to get the titles. He needs to get money in the bank. And he needs to start winning. So for the next week's what is it, a 6-man tag? I really, really think this is where we start to see turn with Dom, not a face turn, but a turn where Finn is left on his own. Because I really think we might get Dom as the leader going into the Netflix premiere. And I say just because of what's going on. If Carlito was a part of that triple threat, then we would see that it just be status quo as always. But with Finn there and JD there, I think a trigger is going to get pulled. And I'm really hoping that this trigger gets pulled. We need to get the spot of Dom when Finn is going for like a tag where Dom just leaps off the apron and just leaves Finn. We need that spot. Let the hens come to roost for Finn. He's done. He's lived. He's next Dom. Everybody sees what Dom has done for them, and Finn is now out because of what he's been doing, and it's pretty much acting like Damian and Rhea. I think a trigger needs to get pulled next week. It really needs to. It doesn't need to wait. You could do something at the premiere, but I think that's just going to be so dang busy that you might want to have something happen before the Netflix premiere. And I think we'll get a big hint on if something big is going to happen if they are the main event. Because at this point, I'm not sure what you could put as the main event for Raw next week. Because we didn't see Gunther, didn't see Braun. You could probably do something with Liv and Rhea, maybe a contract signing or something like that. You could probably do that, but I think they would even put that towards the middle of the show. But if there's no stipulation, you might just get a brawl and then that's it. So I'm really hoping, and I'm really hoping that they pull the trigger with Dom. I just need that to happen. We've just been in a holding pattern with Dom and Finn and Damian, and Dom needs to get out of the Damian vortex. If Finn wants to keep they want to have Finn fight Damian, then let them go on and fight. And if they want to do Finn versus Dom, they're gonna pull the trigger so we can get to that point. Because notice, I forgot to mention this, it's like Finn was the one that caused the DQ. Finn caused Dom to lose via DQ. He didn't get pinned, thank goodness, but Finn was the one that caused the DQ. And that should be a bone of contention that should come up next week. Finn was the one that got ahead of himself and all angry and angsty demonish to go after Finn and cause the DQ. And that should be why they pull the trigger of Dom abandoning Finn or just letting Finn draw. But anywho, rest of Raw, we had Drew McIntyre beating Sammy, and then I guess he's in a quasi alliance with Timu Bloodline now. It is what it is. I don't get why they had to repeat Sammy versus Drew again. They could have just did a beatdown. I don't see why Sammy needed to have a loss there, and I guess they just needed that to reintroduce Jay because Jay was missing, and he returned. But it's just like, what are we doing? Roman wasn't there to do anything, and we didn't have Jimmy there to do anything, so they're just kind of on their own. And I guess it's just to build up heat, but it's why I don't need to see. What's the point? We're just gonna get what beat downs until Netflix, I guess. I don't know, but Drew mentioned that one person checked in on him. They said it could be The Rock, and it could be if they wanted to introduce The Rock, but I don't know with The Rock's schedule. I don't even know if he's going to be even showing up for WrestleMania. If he does show up for WrestleMania, it's going to be a miracle. But I guess they just can leave it out in the air until he commits to doing anything for WrestleMania. And then Io Sky advanced. Now, this is the thing. Well, this one thing I want to comment on. I felt really bad for Natalya in the same sense that I felt really bad for Naomi when she didn't advance because that I felt like she could have at least gotten into the second round at least. And why do we need Io Sky advancing? Are we going to do Io versus Dakota? Why are we booting down Io into the Intercontinental ranks? See, that's what makes. See, that's why she's not going to be a part of a main event for WrestleMania or part of a World Championship program because they've already kicked her down to Intercontinental. So there goes one of those potential feuds that they always say that Rhea could be doing. But he, I just felt bad for Natalya. You couldn't give her one little win there, and then if she had to exit out of the program before the finals, then fine. But you could at least given her that win. It just feels like I know she does a lot behind the scenes with trainings and things like that, doing the dungeon, and it just felt really. I just felt really bad for her. Like you couldn't give her one little win, especially for Io. Just came off of a world championship reign, so now he's going to come down and then go into the Intercontinental, and then I guess we're going to get Dakota, and then what happens with Io and Lyra? I wanted Lyra, so is she going to roll past Lyra again? The only reason I would accept Lyra losing is if Lyra goes in to start fighting with Liv. That is the only reason. Lyra should be in there in the finals, and if she's not, she better be in there fighting against Liv pretty soon because she had her momentum halted as well because they everything wrapped up in this Rhea stuff. So if Lyra's not going to win, she needs to be over there fighting Liv pretty relatively soon. And then we had Alpha Academy versus American Made. Why are we restarting Otis again and Chad Gable? It's like Triple H is remembering things need to be tied off. It's like he's remembering that Finn and Damian had this feud and that needs to get finished out. It feels like now they're going back with Otis and Chad because they have nothing to do. Why is it? Why can't you just have American Made start going after the War Raiders? Do like a tag team tourney. They always want to do tournaments. So didn't get that kicked off. So War Raiders have some challenges. Why are we restarting Otis and Chad Gable again? It seems like that should have been done, or that should have been completed months ago. But anyway, I digress. We had New Day. Like I said, their heat is waning. I know this is a tape show, but it's going down. They got to start doing something to either maintain it or it's just going to go all the way down. That's why you can't compare. People were really excited. Oh, Dom has some challenges for his heat now. I was like, he got somebody. You could get Nega Heat one time. The challenge is that do you get this heat consistently over the years? Dom gets heat over the years. Until New Day can get to that month or 2 months or a year mark, then it's not Dom heat. Anybody can get a reaction for one show. The trick is you got to maintain it. And then I guess his mama didn't like it too. So it seems like I think they're kind of wearing that whole. Not even people don't like them. Not heels don't like them. People really like everybody not liking what they did. I think they're wearing that out a little bit. It was funny at first, but now it's just like get to the next story beat. Because not everybody's going to be like, I don't agree with what you did. Let a heel be like, hey, I agree with you did. Give them an ally, do something. They're just kind of wearing things out. And what else? We had another little promo for the Miro guy, Pentagon. I would not be opposed to Pentagon being with Dom. Like I said, he needs somebody for language barrier. I know there's a joke of putting all the ethnicities together for the WWE, and I get that, but for in this particular case, I would want Pentagon to be at least protected like was very, very wise where he's not on his own. Because only the silent act can only take you so far. And putting him with Dom at least gives him some cushion and protection to figure out what he needs to do before they start figuring out future storyline beats. Bring him in. Let him be that heater. Let him be that heater for Dom. And then you can work things around and stuff like that.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Receipts podcast. Remember to follow me on the X at WMaven WWE and on TikTok at WriterMaven for more wrestling insights and live reactions every Monday night after Raw. Until next time, I'm just saying.